she's torqued into place. You probably already know this if you've gotten this far and have broken it free, but getting this thing tight is not easy. You need to be strong and innovative, or just innovative. I got the right tool for doing this job, and it's still hard. So make sure you have something that's at least 3/4 inch drive, and give her hell. All right, back on with the blue gloves. This piece, the bushing, has a corresponding little groove right there. And they'll sit into each other. You're gonna have to push it around to get it right. But I don't even want to push this in yet anyway, because I still need to, it's doing that upside down anyway. There you go. It goes like that. All right, greased up. The holes are, they're not the holes, the tabs are lined up with each other. You push this into place, and then you need this special little weird tab thing. I'm not really sure why this wasn't shrink wrapped with the rest of the stuff, but it was shipped with the rest of the stuff, and that is all that matters to me. So this guy is going to sit on top of there like that. It's kind of like a guide of sorts for the spring. It's going to go on top of that, and it can kind of almost sit there, but it really can't. And then in this case, I have the steering arm piece that goes over the top of this, and I need to go get bolts for it. So once the spring is in place on top of the retainer, take the cap, put the cap over it, fill the cap full of grease, then put the cap over it, and then you're gonna have to compress the whole thing a little bit in order to get these bolts to thread. I'm able to just push on it with my hand to just barely get this thread, get one of these in. And then what I did is I just tightened this one and this one down without washers until I could put this one and this one in with washers. Then I backed these two off, slipped the washers on them, which I'm doing right now. And now I have all four with the washers on. Trying to compress it with just your bare hands with the washer on the nut is probably not going to be happening. I don't know, who knows, maybe you're really strong though. So yeah, now I got all four bolts threaded with the little lock washers underneath them. So then I got a 19mm wrench and just crank them on down to 80 foot-pounds. Forgot to say it, there's also a little gasket that you got to throw in here. So make sure that's in place as well. All right, we're dealing with the back side of the spindle now. Should be kind of familiar with where you're looking. Let me turn the light on real quick. Better. You're gonna take this guy, which is the spindle bearing. I'll have that part number in the annotations on the video. But anyways, you're gonna want to put it with the letter side facing up. I don't know if it really matters, but I saw somebody else say that. So you know how that goes when you just steal other people's anecdotal advice. So I'm going to throw just a small amount of grease to make sure it goes in there smooth on that. This bearing was already kind of silky, so I don't really know if I need to be doing this, but I want it to be able to go in, and I don't want to pinch it, and it seems like most of the time I pinch stuff, so I figured I'd just grease it for a change. Also, this is like freshly sandblasted, so it's really grippy stuff. It's pretty raw. Oh yeah, get in there. Oh yeah. All right, so with that lubed up, we're gonna stick this in. Letters up. You can see it says stuff on it. USA made, baby. Can you read it? There you go. USA made. Get that as straight as you can. And then when you pound on this with whatever you're going to pound on, I have a bearing driver, so I'm going to grab that. Alright, so I got the smallest size one from my O'Reilly kit. Set it on there. And I want to try to get that as level as possible. And then I don't really have the ability to hold on to this and smack it with the hammer, but basically you'll drive it in until it bottoms out. So I wasn't 100% sure which way to put this seal in, with the ditch facing inward toward the vehicle like this, or with it like this. But when I stick it in like this, it seems to fit in and stay. So I'm gonna go like that. If somebody tells me I did this wrong, I'll kill them. And then the third piece that comes in this little Timken set is this gasket, which is gonna go on like so. And you can see you got your dust cap here, and this piece just fits over the edge of the dust cap. It is not super easy to stretch on there. Like, I can't quite do it with one hand right now. Oh, wait, maybe I can. There you go. So that's what it looks like installed. And looks like we got a little gap right there. Well, anyways, that's what it looks like installed. That just mates up against everything, keep the dirt out. Not quite on there perfect yet, but you get the idea. All right, don't be a dumbass like me, and make sure you pound your studs through your knuckle before you mount the knuckle on the kingpins. I didn't do this, so I had to unmount it and pound the studs in. You can get all the studs in with it mounted except for this guy. So if for some reason you don't want to pound any of the studs before you mount it, you could only pound this one and then do the rest. That would be stupid though. Do all 6, pound them, then mount all the kingpin stuff. I will put an annotation in the video so you don't make this mistake. Alright, so slide the axle back in, and then put the spindle on over the axle. Don't mount the spindle and then realize you need to put the axle in, because that's counterproductive. Then make sure the spindle's all flush. You can see that it's not. I gotta get it pushed in there good. Throw grease on this guy, and then find the correct brake caliper mounting thing, a majig, and make sure that's on there. This is not super easy to see, but this is the left kingpin. This is the left. This is the left brake mount. So those are going to correspond to each other. So since I'm trying to not scratch any of this paint and also somehow get a hammer down in this deep, I'm going to take this long socket. Probably doesn't really matter, just get something that works. This is 19 mil. Something that sits on top of the stud decent. You can see that. I'm going to put a shop rag in between the two just so I don't mark up the paint. And probably a shop rag on the top of this to keep from damaging it. So I'll just set it up like this. Set the socket on top. And then I can't really show you this because I only got one free hand. So you're going to want to work your way around kind of like you do when you're tightening wheel lugs. You know, do this one, then do this one, this one, this one, whatever. You're just going to set her on there, nail her out, and you're going to want to push them in until they are flush, which is going to be kind of hard to see. So these cutouts might help. Yeah, you can't really see that on the video, but that one's not in all the way yet. You know, I can still fit a fingernail under it. Alright, you will know you are done when you can pick up this disc and the hub, and there will be no wiggle. It will all be one piece. You can grab it, shake it around. There's no clicking or wobbling. You've pounded it tight enough to where it just feels like one giant hunk of metal to you. That's when you know your studs are all the way in. Don't not get these all the way in, because that can create major safety problems for you or whoever happens to be driving your truck.